The most brutal one-sided beatdown in recent UFC history. These strikes should be banned in UFC, because just look at the state one of these attacks led to. People commented on what happened to this poor guy as really horrible, but impressive. But let's take things one step at a time. Tsarukyan, a regular wrestler whose name had never been heard in a major cage, went up against Spanish jiu-jitsu fighter Joe Alvarez, who has 17 ground-and-pound victories under his belt. He wasn't the most pleasant opponent, and listen to what the Spaniard himself said before the fight. "I don't like making any promises about future fights, but I really hope and expect that I'll win." A positive attitude is a good sign, but today, that didn't matter much. Despite Alvarez being a much more formidable opponent, Arman wasn't afraid to wrestle such a skilled jiu-jitsu fighter, and practically beamed with joy at the start down, bounding into the octagon. There he is, taunting the announcer, also in high spirits. But who would have known that El Fenomeno would misfire today? Before the fight even begins, the fighters exchange a few punches and immediately collapse to the canvas, tangled in a tangled mess. The Armenian is on top, and Alvarez is trying to wriggle out from under his elbows. There were some attempts to break free, but they only served to entangle him more tightly. However, a couple of punches did land, to the body, the back of the head, the ears, and the arms. Soon, the Spaniard pushes his opponent away, who almost immediately folds him in half, once again getting on top. And then comes the real catharsis. His attempts to cover his face were effective, but he stopped too soon. 5 seconds later, in a single moment, Tsarukyan lands a brutal elbow strike, cutting a gash across the Spaniard's face, which almost instantly turns Alvarez's face into a tomato.
Get back to a base. That's a beautiful elbow.
His eyes, nose, ears, and mouth turned red, as did his attacker's hands. The scene now resembled a brutal thriller scene rather than a typical UFC fight. This development reluctantly stunned him, and for several seconds he was blinded by his own blood. A temporary stoppage was called, during which the Spaniard was patched up and the cut was covered. But starting in the second round, it reopened after another takedown from Tsarukyan, this time with triple force.
They stopped it. This one has more blood.
Look at that, nicely done. He's going to watch the neck though. Past the side control, very nice.
That's what I'm talking about for Tsarukyan. He's aware of those. Like, he's not going to put himself, now he's got a choke of his own.
And then here's trouble when you lean back and the cut opens up. And
it was a nightmare. Truly, everyone in the audience, including the commentators whose screams could be heard in the background, were clearly shocked beyond measure. The scene became even more terrifying. The referee didn't watch the beating for long and stopped the fight. The Armenian was awarded the victory, of course, but could it really be said that the fight was a full one?